Hello, if you are on a project and you need to get started with CloudCraze immediately and you need to learn the basics, learn the ropes, learn how to do things, you can safely skip this video. This is just an introduction and history video of what happened, how we got here today. So if you are on a project, client is asking for all kinds of changes to the website, you don't know what to do, go ahead and skip this video, jump into the next video. If you have some time, if you are not in an urgent client situation and you have a few minutes, this video we're going to talk about CloudCraze, which is now called Salesforce B2B Commerce for Visualforce. We're going to talk about what it is, what happened, how we got here, and why this has been such a struggle, and how hopefully this series of videos is going to help us get to a better position where we can have developers with some really strong competence on the platform who can really develop and build confidently and quickly and proficiently. Um, so we'll go ahead and just start talking about what happened here. If I can go to the next slide. So the main issue we've seen, so CloudCraze has been around for some time. Salesforce bought it for a very large amount of money. One of the main issues that we had as developers working with CloudCraze, as you are probably aware by now, CloudCraze is an e-commerce system that runs on Salesforce. Uh, so what we noticed as developers in the earlier stages was the documentation. So for a long time, we relied on this wiki, and this wiki has now been moved into Salesforce Help, and there's still gaps. There is still not, I would not call it complete or perfect at the time of this recording. There was documentation. It was not. It was lacking in examples, and I think it was lacking in practicality of what was commonly being asked for from our clients. So, for example, clients would ask, "How can we do a single page checkout if we don't want like a five-step checkout or five-page checkout? How can we condense it into one uh, page?" Now, there was a piece of documentation showing how to add steps to the checkout. There was not a piece of documentation showing how to take steps away from the checkout. There's also some really confusing architecture. Some pages were followed a SPA, single page application architecture, and some pages did not. And so to identify those and work with those, a lot of Visualforce developers never touched backbone.js, and so they were very unfamiliar with how to work with the backbone models and views to adjust that to do these various things in these various architectures. Um, so the CloudCraze developers really kind of made the project their own. So they started with a handful of JavaScript libraries, Backbone.js, Handlebars.js, jQuery, and a few others, and they kind of added on top of it. So they have essentially their own JavaScript library that very limited documentation on that and how to work with that as well. So that was one of our biggest challenges, one of our biggest struggles was the general lack of good, solid documentation and examples. And I really think video walkthroughs are very helpful. I think we have a lot more now than we did on YouTube. I have seen some popping up, and what I'm hoping to do is add to those and really help and really bolster. Um, so we'll have more video examples developers can really see what to do and how to do it. I think like watching another developer do it is really the fastest way to learn. It's like a watch and learn kind of thing because you can read about it, you can read a book, like, but I think in my experience, watching a good developer and watching what he or she does is the most helpful. So if we had some of that, if we had some video tutorials, that would be awesome. Salesforce had this thing, very expensive, where they could fly someone out and they'll train your team, and it's thousands of dollars per seat. Um, and that like I took that training, I was there, but that barely scratches the surface of everything you can do with CloudCraze and the depth of customization that is often necessary to build a modern e-commerce website with this, very honestly, this dated platform. It's an old platform built on old technologies. Okay, so that's number one, the big lack in documentation. So number two is the lack of community, and this kind of goes hand in hand with another point, barrier to entry. To even if you were a developer and you wanted to simply just set up a sandbox and build an e-commerce website, like a test one, just to learn the platform. If you say, I want to be a developer, I want to learn this CloudCraze e-commerce platform, because let's face it, a lot of businesses use Salesforce. It's a really obvious use case. If they have their customer data, their product data, pricing data, warehouse inventory data, if all of that is in Salesforce already, why not build your e-commerce and run that on the Salesforce communities, Salesforce sites? That's a really strong use case. So that's smart. And I've actually known people who have gone out of their way to learn CloudCraze because of that. And they kind of took a bet and they paid that thousands of dollars for a seat in one of those training sessions to pick up the platform and to be able to use it. So, and like that's a big barrier to entry. So thousands of dollars to get yourself a seat, to fly yourself out to one of these places and take a training or drive if you're lucky. Another um, barrier to entry, you had to either be a partner or you had to contact support, which and I think that's actually was the most reliable way if you were an independent consultant and you weren't part of a big consulting firm or anything, and you set up a developer org and you wanted to put the CloudCraze managed package on this developer org, you would need to reach out to Salesforce support and ask them nicely to put a license in your org for Salesforce B2B Commerce for CloudCraze. Then you would be able to access the proper permission set and to get into CC admin and actually configure and set up your store. So you can go all the way to installing the managed package, but you can't use it unless you get this license from Salesforce. So you would actually have to reach out to Salesforce support. And while they're dealing with big system outages and bugs and crashes with Fortune 500 companies, you're probably waiting a few days for support to get back to you to put a license in your org for you. So, um, so needless to say, this was one of the big factors that led to a lack of developers who knew the platform or understood the platform. Even if they wanted to, like Trailhead material was very limited. Um, and there were these other barriers to entries. You either had to pay a lot of money for an official Salesforce training, or if you wanted to learn by yourself, um, you really had to figure out how to do that, and you had to like reach out with Salesforce and work with Salesforce so that it wasn't like a quick, easy jump into Angular JS or jump into React. If you wanted to do this, it was actually a kind of a hard thing to do and to get into. Um, and usually when people did, it was too little, too late because they got staffed on a project. They had no idea about this platform, and at this point you're in it. You need to figure it out. You need to learn it. You need to figure out how to develop on this platform. And so that's what I'm going to be addressing. So hopefully, after this YouTube series, hopefully those days are going to be over. We're going to have a step-by-step for um, the for building on this platform to the best of my ability. So, people have tried, and I can give shouts out to people who have done this, thrown like I've seen someone throw a website out to create, the missing guide on the CloudCraze, the missing guide, right? Um, but I think that project was started and never fully completed. So I'm going to try my best. I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm going to try to be as helpful and efficient as I can because I think the people who are watching this, they they have probably never heard of this platform before. They probably got staffed on a project that is using this platform, and they probably need to learn it in the most fast and efficient manner possible. So that is what I am hoping to deliver. So we are going to talk about like very, very basic e-commerce website things, how to change the logo, how to change the colors, how to change the fonts, how to move the widgets around, how to restructure the pages, how to apply custom CSS, how to uh, like even edit the configuration settings. And if you are lucky enough to be in a stage where they're in the people are in the talks of using this platform versus a different platform. I think at this point, at the time of this recording, it is very unlikely that this e-commerce platform will be a good, strong, viable option for a company who wants to stand up a new e-commerce platform. There is a new e-commerce platform. There's B2B Lightning that is essentially taking the place of B2B for Visualforce. So that, in my estimation, that will be much more likely to be used in the future. So I think the most likely thing that will be happening if people are needing to learn CloudCraze at this stage is there are clients who already use the platform, who already have an e-commerce store, or they've been developing one, or they have one already launched, and it's already a done deal. There is no choice. They have to go with CloudCraze. And so welcome. If you're one of those lucky people, welcome. And hopefully this series of videos will make this a little less painful and hopefully fill in some of those gaps and really give a helpful sense and a second nature of working with this platform and understanding this platform better to be able to effectively deliver for your clients. Because of the dated technology, it is a challenge. The platform can be slow, sluggish, buggy even. And so we're going to just do our best to go through some examples, and I will show you so you can watch me and watch what I do. So thankfully, one of the barriers to entry has been eliminated. So if you create a Scratch org, you will actually be able to stand up CloudCraze without needing to reach out to support to ask them to put a license in your org for you. So that's a really big step in the right direction. If I'm just a developer and I'm working on my skills, I want to add CloudCraze to my skills, I can actually do that now. So in my opinion, that's too little, too late. But we're going to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that, and we'll go from there. So to all of you listening, thank you for listening. I know you could have just skipped ahead and gotten to the material, but I've been working on this platform for years now, and I know the struggles. I know the hardships that come from working with a challenging platform like this, where there is a big the documentation leaves you wanting. There's the lack of community, lack of developers, and support from this, and you really are very reliant on Salesforce at this point in Salesforce professional services to step in and point you in the right direction and help you out. And I'm going to be going over that in my next video. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's a bit of background, and I hope you enjoy the videos. Thank you so much for watching.